Welcome to episode 3 of Come On, Amanda. Now, Amanda's made a very important decision in her life. After having the same hairstyle since she was a little girl, Amanda has decided to comb out her pigtails and wear her hair down. Yep, that's right. It's Amanda's new look. She's going to try it out and see how everyone thinks. So, little George there, of course, needing attention. He's not very far away from becoming a toddler. In fact, it should happen later this very same day. Yes, Amanda sure does look different with her new hairstyle. But it really does seem suiting to her. Really does fit her, I think. As of course Amanda is a very attentive mother. Even with her all her chasing of men, she managed to spend plenty of time taking care of George. Yes, and so she puts the little guy back in his crib and comes downstairs to cook some breakfast, because pretty soon it will be time to go down to the station for another day of work. Yes, I don't think Amanda is in the position for any kind of promotion, but she hasn't been working too hard at getting skill points recently. She's had a lot of other things on her mind, which is understandable considering her situation. So, Amanda's had her breakfast, and Bruce is coming downstairs to have his. Gonna have some food before he begins his day of running his business from his home office. Now here, Amanda wants to show Bruce some affection, but Bruce will have none of it. He is angry. Oh man, that doesn't look good at all. Yeah, Bruce is just a very unhappy guy, because he's looking at George, and he doesn't see himself in George, and he's getting very, very suspicious. Now, anyway, it's time for Amanda to be off to work. So, into the police car. See what her coworkers think about her new hairstyle. At least she's not sitting in the back like a criminal today. Well, phone call for Bruce, and it turns out to be Sue. Yes, for some reason, Sue and Bruce have struck up an unlikely friendship, and they're really chatting away here. Now, Amanda hasn't really spoken to Sue after what she saw over at the Lincoln's house the other day. It makes Amanda feel weird, because Amanda was always chasing after boys in her teenage years, and she couldn't even dream of going after another girl. It just seems very weird to Amanda. But it seems like Bruce and Sue are having a good conversation, at least. So, Bruce decides to take a swim, taking a little break from his busy day. And little George is making a fit, so Bruce comes to look at him. And yes, it really doesn't look like him. The more he looks at his supposed son, the more he does not see the resemblance. But anyway, it's time for Amanda to come home, and she's going to throw a little birthday party for her son, even though she's very stressed out and very tired. People at work gave her a lot of compliments on her hairstyle. They seem to like it, so that's a good thing. So, Amanda's going to call over her twin sister, Lucy, who, as you know, is pregnant with her second child. So she's going to drink some espresso so she doesn't fall asleep during the party. Well, there's Lucy, obviously getting pretty pregnant. Yes, Amanda wants to feel the belly, see her little new niece or nephew. So now, it's time to get George for his party. Time for him to become a toddler. Alright, up you go. So, she brings him downstairs, but She doesn't even get to the cake. George is so anxious to grow up, he does it right there in the room. Yes, and there he is, George the toddler. And he has very dark hair, something unusual in both Amanda and Bruce, although Bruce's mother, I believe, had kind of dark hair, unless I'm mistaken. But Amanda's very tired and she needs to have some sleep, so she's leaving George to explore, of course. Bruce is looking after him, so he picks him up. He's a cute little guy after all. But now that he's a little older, Bruce can see that it doesn't look like him at all. And apparently George voices his whole thoughts on it by spitting all over Bruce. It's kind of funny. So Bruce has made up his mind. He has to confront Amanda about this. So he leaves George in his room under the watchful eye of baby monitors, which you can't see because they're not in the game. But I assure you they're there because they're responsible parents. But now it's time for Bruce to confront Amanda. Now she's trying to go to bed early, but Bruce is going to wake her up because this is a conversation he feels cannot wait. Not even another day. So he marches right up to Amanda and says, "Hey, I need you to get a paternity test for George. I don't think he's my son." And Amanda's like, "What do you think? What do you mean he's not your son? You don't trust me?" And Bruce is like, "Honestly, no, I don't. I think you've been sleeping with other men, and I think that he is somebody else's son." So Amanda is trying to dodge the issue because she really doesn't want to get a paternity test, because if it's not his son, who knows if Bruce is even going to let her stay in the mansion anymore. So Amanda's like, "Hey, do you want to?" And Bruce is like, "No. No way. Get out of here." Wow, denied even makeup sex. So yeah, it's a very tense situation in the mansion tonight. So Bruce is going to bed and sending off Amanda to sleep in another room. So Amanda walks away down to the 3rd floor and to the green bedroom, wondering what to do. Yes, it's a very complicated situation, and she knows she can't put it off forever. Eventually, the truth is going to come out, and the real father is going to be revealed. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you all next time for episode 4. So long.